Fink from BlackRock told you that everything will eventually be tokenized. There will be massive growth, not on your time, but in due time. In today's video, I'm going to break down two powerful videos and show you what truly is happening with the cryptocurrency and blockchain space. We are only at about 2.2 trillion in market cap. I want to give you some context of this. We're at 2.2 trillion. NVIDIA is bigger than the whole crypto market. Digest that for just a moment. NVIDIA is bigger than the whole crypto market. I'm going to say it one more time. One company is bigger than the whole crypto market. Okay. So now here's another bit of logic. BlackRock, Larry Fink, the largest asset manager in the world with 11 trillion under management, now runs the World Economic Forum. He told you everything's going to be tokenized. They're the #1 holder in Bitcoin through IBIT, their Bitcoin ETF. He's also the #3 holder in Strategy B through BlackRock. So here's the caveat. We're at 2.2 trillion market cap. The global markets are about 111, I think, to about 120 trillion. 2 trillion to a whole tokenized financial system. That's your growth. So your job is to decide which assets in the digital space will survive regulation. That's how you win. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you these videos, and then I'm going to share with you exactly what I do. On my channel, we have full authenticity. I share with you my portfolio. I share with you my percentages. I'm not paid by any cryptocurrency companies at all. I've never been paid to promote a token ever. If we ever have a partnership, I share with you exactly what that is. The key is authenticity, guys. Very, very important to understand. Okay. We have to be fully authentic with each other. We have to be fully honest with each other. And we have to be patient through the process. Study the bamboo farmer. Okay. So I'm going to show you these two videos, then I'm going to break down exactly what I'm doing to the T. I will be traveling next week. Today is Tuesday, so I'll be traveling for about a week. And I will be doing a little bit of different form of videos next week. I'm going to pre-record the videos so you guys have content. I'm actually going to do a series around my Capital DR strategy, breaking down a little bit what we teach inside of our academy, kind of a 30,000-foot overview. I'm going to talk about cash flow, appreciating assets, protection, and leverage. So next week will be a different format. I just want to share that with you guys because I will be on a spiritual journey out in Peru. But I will make sure you guys have that content. So maybe a little bit different. I won't be reporting the news or anything like that. So I just want to give you a heads up on that, since I love you guys and I appreciate you. And I want you guys to know that everything is okay, because my content will probably slow down quite a bit next week. Just time to step back and sit with God for a week. All right, here we go.
Can't contemplate large numbers. So we're excited about tokenization. There's $20 billion. Stocks are $110 trillion, right? Bonds are $140 trillion. Real estate is like $250 trillion. ETFs are $30 trillion. The point I made in the memo is that the tokenization market could 10,000x.
10,000x. The bamboo farmer, guys. Be the bamboo farmer. Pick assets that you believe are going to beat regulation, or not beat regulation, be here when regulation. Because, you think about the auto boom, the .com boom, you always end up with the big three, the big four. That I just did a huge consolidation, which I'll break down on the back end of this video. I sold 17 cryptos, and I'll share with you on the back end what I consolidated into.
And still have room to grow. And while that sounds like a crazy idea, you have the CEO of BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, saying every asset will be tokenized. You have Paul Atkins, the chair of the most important regulator, saying every asset will be tokenized. You have every major Wall Street firm hiring people to tokenize it. Like, the world is screaming at you that everything is going to be tokenized. We're going to go from 20 billion to 200 trillion. And crypto's like, nah. They won't listen. And I think that is just a really significant opportunity.
Wild, right? I mean, just digest that. Well, let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth. This was October 14th, 2025.
Then we overlay investment technology and now digital. We're the firm that more and more people are going to worldwide.
What do you mean by digital?
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities to bonds, across the board.
It's very loud here.
It is very loud.
But it's good. Capital's at work. Yeah, you like that.
I love capital
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah.
But there's $4.1 trillion of money in sitting globally in digital wallets. A lot of that money is outside the United States. If we can tokenize
Listen,
a ETF, digitize that ETF, we can have investors who are just beginning to, invest in markets through, let's say, crypto. They're investing in it, but now we can get them into the more traditional long-term retirement products. So we look at that as the next wave of opportunity for BlackRock over the next tens of years.
okay. The next wave of opportunities. So just logic, guys. Logic. Are you going to listen to hype on the internet, the craziness that comes out, the clickbait, or are you going to watch what the real money is doing? This is the largest asset manager in the world. From the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, probably everything you touch, from your toothpaste to the water that you drink, they own a part of it, guys. So go look up global GDP. They have 11 trillion. They're bigger than most countries' GDPs. He now sits as the head of the World Economic Forum. Because of the files that came out, the CEO of the World Economic Forum is gone. He stepped down. Guys, we're seeing a dismantling of the centralized system to decentralization. But here's the thing. Now they're inviting you in because they're prepared to profit off of it. Remember they told you that it's used for money laundering? You're a criminal if you trade it. But now they're telling you water's warm. Come on in. That's how it always happens. First they resist it, then they sue it, then they regulate it, then they join it. Draper, we're in regulation and joining phase, so you got to be patient, okay? So the DTCC, tokenization, is evolving from concept towards integration with market infrastructure. The foundation explainer breaks down the basics outlines of the DTC tokenization services is designed to extend trusted markets infrastructure into blockchain-enabled markets while supporting established investor protection models. We'll end with this video, and then I'll go into exactly what I'm doing in the consolidation of my portfolio.
Stocks and bonds have long been traded in traditional markets, and now blockchain creates new opportunities for efficiency and innovation. Tokenization refers to creating a digital version of a real-world asset, such as stocks or bonds, on a blockchain, representing true ownership rights. Here is an overview of the process. Begin by selecting the assets to tokenize: stocks, treasury bonds, or funds, and immobilize them to prevent double spending. Next, choose a blockchain and implement smart contracts.
Key, choose a blockchain. So that's where you need to figure out which ones you think are going to do this.
That define token characteristics, including total supply, distribution controls, and possible token operations like mint, burn, or cancel. Then, set up wallets on the selected blockchains. These wallets come with unique identifiers and secure access credentials, allowing the wallet owner to manage assets directly or delegate control to an authorized party like a custodian or asset manager. Finally, mint tokens representing the immobilized assets and assign them to registered wallets. Once minted, these tokens may be eligible for transfer, to be used as collateral, or trading at any time, and are no longer restricted by traditional market hours or processes. Tokenization isn't just about new technology. It's about making asset ownership more accessible, efficient, and transparent.
Boom. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So this is what's happening here, okay? It's moving from spiritually as well. And that's why I keep talking about February 20, 2026. We're in the new era, guys. We're in the new era. I told you guys exposure was coming. You guys saw the, I keep saying it incorrectly. My apologies. Is it Jane Street got exposed. I said it incorrectly. For insider trading, guys, insider trading happens all the time. Okay, you're going to see all these brokers get exposed. Banks are getting exposed. The CEO of the World Economic Forum stepped down. Bill Gates had to apologize. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton were testifying. Right, this is the era of it's going to distract the living shit out of people. Okay. All of a sudden, nobody's talking about the files. After Saturday, the war with Iran, guys, it's massive, massive distractions, okay? Here's what's really happening. So when you wake up in 2030, you're going to see an evolution into full tokenization. So what we have decided to do not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you, and I'm going to share with you my exact portfolio. Okay. No gatekeeping here. What we decided to do is we decided back in 2020 when we saw the evolution of this. I came from banking. So when I saw XRP, I was like, wow, holy cow, why are banks not using this? They talked about the double spend problem, right? You have the Nostro Vostro account, locked up, trapped liquidity. So I went to CBA Executive Banking School, got a banking certificate, and that's you scale banks inside of a simulation, right? And I'm like, when I started to see that distributed ledger technology, I'm like, whoa, this stops double spend, right? It's clear. Nostro Vostro, it frees up all this trapped liquidity. So I had a deep understanding when I looked at XRP, and I'm like, whoa, this solves a massive problem. I'm like, why aren't banks using this? And I realized there are institutions that are implementing things like XRP, digital currencies, blockchain technology. JP Morgan already was building, I think it was JPM coin. Now it became Onyx, right? He has his own blockchain technology. As they told you to run, he would say, Bitcoin's a fraud, but blockchain is here to stay, right? It's one and the same. Bitcoin's 60% of the market, but your wealthy clients can invest in it, but you tell us not to touch it. Okay, I digress, right? So there was a narrative from 2017 to about 2023. They were telling you it's a pet rock, it's used for money laundering. They're shouting from the mountaintops. But now as we landed today in 2020, God, that went by fast. We landed in 2026. BlackRock is the largest holder, okay, in Bitcoin through IBIT. You have Strategy B, which owns 700,000 Bitcoin. BlackRock is a number 3 holder, okay? You got everybody's connected in the White House. You got Trump, started WLFI, Steve Witkoff, WLFI, the Witkoff boys, the Trump boys run WFI, a decentralized platform, which has USD1, which is a stablecoin. Trump created the stablecoin USD1, fastest growing stablecoin in history. Bo Hines brought Tether into America. Well, why would they do that? Trump trumped everybody with the Genius Act. It's genius. He saved the US dollar from collapsing, tokenizing the US dollar. Okay, US dollar operates outside a centralized system. He's dismantling the central bank, bringing in the Federal Reserve underneath the government. In my opinion, he will. He's going to lower interest rates. He's going to go from financialization, debt expansion to production. We're going to try to grow our way out of the economy. Bitcoin will be the strategic reserve. You'll have a bag of currencies. You will have a even playing field monetarily. That's the way it's going to work. Okay, so we had the opportunity to invest in digital assets that we believe are going to be the infrastructure in the financial system. So just recently, what I did personally is I closed out it was scary. I closed out 17 cryptocurrencies that I got hyped into, that I got flooded into, and I started to mature my portfolio. I'm not saying you do this, but I'm being exactly honest with you guys, exactly what I'm doing. I share this stuff in my academy, but I'm also going to share it openly here. Okay, so I closed out, I think it was 17 different cryptocurrencies. All I have left is XRP, Bitcoin, WLFI, Solana, HBAR, XLM, and VChain. Those are my top 7. The only ones that I'm accumulating is XRP, Bitcoin, WLFI, and Solana. Let me break those down. Okay. XRP is number 1, 43% of my portfolio. Number 2 is Bitcoin, 50% of my portfolio. Okay. So I'm sorry, 40%. That would be 83% of my portfolio. Then it goes to WLFI, which is 4.0, and then it's 3.7 for Solana. Then it drops off significantly with HBAR, XLM, and VChain. Okay. Why did I hold all of those? Okay. So XRP is a bridge currency. I believe it's going to be one of the greatest bridge currencies and be the future transaction layer of the monetary system. That's what I believe. Okay. That's my conviction. Bitcoin is my store of value. I have XLM, payment token. I have HBAR and Solana, layer 1, and then I have VChain, which is supply chain. I understand all of those at a deep level. So I'm going to continue to accumulate the top 4. If you notice, people who are very wealthy, billionaires, they are consolidated up into the top 4. Okay, that's a very, very important thing to understand. You don't need the next best hype crypto, these influencers out there on X and all these different places trying to sell you the next best thing. Guys, you have to make sure it's going to pass regulation. When regulation comes, all these little side projects, all this shit, it's going to be very hard for companies to survive. It's very, 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 very expensive to keep up with regulation. Okay, so be very careful. That's one biggest thing. Okay. The more hypey it is, run as fast as you can. Okay, so that's my consolidation that I did. Okay, so let me break down how my system works. And I'm going to actually do a whole week of this next week. I'm going to break down capital DR for you guys. I'm going to go into cash flow. I'm going to go into appreciation, protection, leverage and de-risking. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I break down in my academy. I invented capital DR, not capital DR. Okay, so cash flow is C. So every time I get paid income, I have active income and I have passive income. Income is debt. So what I do is I take my income, and the first thing I do is I create cash flow. Cash flow is different than income. Okay, income is you have to trade labor for. Cash flow, you make money while you sleep. An example of cash flow could be a stock that pays a dividend. That's an example. Okay, so I create cash flow every single time I get paid. Every time I get paid. Okay, I move my income active and my cash flow outside of debts and non-negotiables, and I move it into A, assets. I just gave you my top 7 assets. Okay. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm just being open and honest with you. What I invest in, I give you the percentages. No gatekeeping here. Okay. When those assets, I'm not married to them. The only one I'm not selling is Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin, we're going to move into P. Okay. Write that down. P, protection. And I'll go deep into this next week. Okay. When I move when my assets, I'm not married to them, even my XRP, I'm exiting 50% of altcoins, all my coins, besides Bitcoin. Okay. That's protection. When they go up, I use Merlin, smartest way to track your crypto. I'm the co-founder and creator of that. As it moves up, okay, I exit on the way up. I ladder out as you're trying to catch the top. You're not going to catch the top and you're not going to catch the bottom. I ladder out. And I put it into P, protection. I use cash value life insurance. That's my first thing that I put into. Next is precious metals, silver. I use Bitcoin as my gold. Okay, Berkshire, copper. Those are defense mechanisms. The reason why I use offense and defense, because offense looks like this. This is how you retire. You're trying to catch your 401k. You're trying to catch crypto. That's like shooting fish in a barrel. Okay, the 60-40 is dead. This is not our grandparents' economy anymore. Okay, so I have P. I protected my principal. So when you come collapsing down, my principal is guaranteed. And then I leverage from the cash value life insurance at low interest, and I go back into the markets and I buy your fear. Okay, that's how you leverage. You don't leverage over here after income and leverage against your future labor. I leverage to buy cash flow and assets, and we de-risk. That's how winning is done. Okay, so that's what my setup is. It works. We exit before everybody comes in to get rich quick. Okay, and we enter when everybody's running from the market. So, for example, what's the date today? Today is March 3rd, 2026. If I look at the markets right here, Bitcoin's at 67, XRP's at $1.35. And so what I'm doing is right now, they're green, like they've kind of gone up this week. And so I'm just sitting tight. So I haven't made any purchases other than my dollar cost average, right? I dollar cost average every day, every month into certain cryptos. So when the market starts coming down and bleeding, I just enter slowly. And I post it on X when I do it. So you guys can follow me on X. I actually put when I'm buying, just to be honest and open with you guys. Yeah. So the cool thing is we're in the era of authenticity, right? And that's what I'm all about. Like, here's my portfolio. Here's what I do. I actually post when the markets are going red. When I'm buying, I usually do 2,500 Bitcoin, 2,500 XRP, like 1,500 WFI, and then I'll throw some other things in there and I just chunk it on the way down, right? And so, because you're not going to catch the bottom. So hopefully that helps. And then next week, I'm going to go really deep into my capital DR strategy. And just because I won't be present, I'll be completely disconnected. And so hopefully that will help. I'll go deep into cash flow, appreciation, protection, and leverage. And then also we have all these resources for you guys as well. And so to kind of top that all off, I have a Dynasty trust. I have a Wyoming LLC. My crypto goes into my Wyoming LLC, my real estate. So all my legacy stuff goes in there. And then I have iTrust Capital, which holds institutional grade custody for my Wyoming LLC crypto. So not all my crypto's in there. It's my legacy crypto that I'm never selling. So that's how my ecosystem's set up. And I hope that helps. If you need any help at all or support, you can actually click the description of this video down below or in my social media platform, click the link. You can actually interview with my team to see if Capital DR would be a good fit for you. It's not an investment. We do not invest people's money. It teaches you the system and it breaks it down in courses and classes and teaches you how we do this. Okay, it's a framework. We've helped over 15,000 people get their shit together in the craziest financial times in history. So I love you guys. I appreciate you, as we always say. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.